What's up, Peep Squad? Peep Squad is in the building, baby. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the video. It'd be greatly appreciated from the bottom of my heart. My peeps, my peoples. Peep Squad is in the building. Like the video. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. OG dropped some more receipts, and basically she recorded one of the episodes and also other incidents that she recorded while they were filming. And so she let us know that the two sisters, Noria and Nia, basically did not have a designated area or a place to actually sleep in the mansion. That it was almost like they were, they wasn't sure if they was going to bring the girls on or not. They wasn't sure about the season or whatever the case may be. They wasn't really confident in the girls, because why didn't, Nora and Nia have a room? Why didn't they have a place that was designated for them? And also OG let us know with the auto that production and the producers threatened to get rid of Noria and Nia if they don't calm down, if they don't act civilized, and he will put them on a plane, give them a plane ticket and shoot them where they need to go. Scoot them, escort them back where they need to go, back to Memphis. So the producers were basically kind of fed up with the situation, but in any event, it is what it is. So you guys tell me what you think about this situation. So yes, it is ugly. It's getting ugly. And also OG made it clear that the blogger, Conversational V, or Mrs. V, basically she said that she was a clout chaser. And also through the auto that OG did record, when the sisters called Miss V, or Conversational V, to actually have her tell the producers and everybody else while they were filming what was going on and what was happening, how did they end up meeting OG and things of that nature. So Noria, she asked Conversational V, so why did OG wanted us to come on the show? Why did OG wanted us to come to the reunion? And Conversational V, or V, basically said, oh, because of this person. And it wasn't Phoebe, it wasn't, Febreze, it wasn't Hull, it wasn't Fubu. And I think they said Lance's name. I think Miss Conversational V said Lance's name. But in any event, and then, Nia had to ask, Miss V again, who was OG beefing with, who was OG fighting with on the show? And then that's when Miss V said, oh, Febreze. So it seemed like her story wasn't steady. It seemed like, she had to think about it. It wasn't concise. It wasn't consistent, because if it only happened one way, so you wouldn't say somebody else's name. So that kind of brings you to a place where what's going on with that situation? Like something ain't right. Something ain't clean in the water. And then we get to the part where OG, she ends up calling, Elton. She calls Elton. And when she calls Elton, he has everything all set. Like he's not stumbling over his words. He knew exactly what happened. He knew that Conversational V wanted to have a conversation, wanted to talk, and also wanted to get OG on the show because she had an incident with Phoebe, and she can give, information on Phoebe, because allegedly OG had beef with Phoebe back then. So when it came down to Elton, the PR person, and when he was called by OG while they was filming, he was correct with, what OG put out, previous receipts, and what she had said. He didn't stumble. He knew clear, directly, and consistently, laid out the story just as OG laid out the story. And when it came to Miss V, she didn't lay out the story. It seemed like Nia had to coach her a little bit, or Miss V was busy, or she had some other shit on her mind, but it didn't come out clear in that situation. But in any event, let's just get down to the nitty gritty. Let's talk about the Jennifer Williams situation. So Jennifer Williams is feeling a certain type of way, because Jennifer Williams, is upset and she pissed, and she was talking to Jack and she was talking to OG. And this is part of the recording that OG recorded. She recorded the whole scene. She recorded everything that was going on. Then Jennifer was basically bringing out her concerns where she didn't want to go to the other house. And she also had proof on Kristen Scott that Kristen Scott was a liar, and Kristen Scott made up rumors, and it wasn't her, and she had evidence. Two people sent her some evidence on Kristen Scott, and Kristen Scott was basically calling Jennifer Williams a liar, and Jennifer Williams said she is the liar, she is the perpetrator, she is the one that was doing wrong, she is the one that caused the issue, she's the one that caused the problem. So you guys let me know what you think about that situation. So Jennifer Williams got beef with Kristen Scott. As you know, Kristen Scott basically was hooking up with this dude named Anthony that was cool. She met him on IG. So did Jackie know him too as well. But in the midst of that situation, this young guy Anthony said that Jennifer Williams was the one, that was spreading the rumors about Malaysia and talking about Malaysia's kids and talking about Malaysia being poor, not having any money, and moving from LA to Atlanta because she can't afford, to take care of her children. So that was a problem, and that was the situation, and Jennifer got proof allegedly that Kristen Scott is lying. So basically it's like you can't really believe anybody say on the show because they be lying. And so now you got to take Kristen Scott word for it that when that she was clear and honest and she had an open heart with OG, but yet she's being called out for being a liar by Jennifer Williams. So there's a whole lot going on, and we know Kristen Scott is a follower too as well. But Jennifer Williams wants to address the situation, and the production and the producers scratched this out and skipped over it and then put it out there because they didn't want to put Kristen Scott out there as being a liar, because if they did, it would seem like when she was having these conversations with OG, she wasn't totally honest, that her character is not 100 and she has lioness in her blood. So in any event, I don't know why they didn't give Jennifer that shine, because Jennifer says she has proof, and I don't know why they didn't do that. So that's the situation. So you guys tell me what you think about that situation. So it went down between Jennifer. Jennifer was upset. Jennifer wanted to get in the situation and basically, tell the world that Kristen Scott is a liar, and she never said nothing about Malaysia or her children, nor did Jennifer Williams' assistant at all. It was all made up. So now, you're getting a taste of people just making up stories, which we already know that this is happening. And so, we're going to get back to the sisters. But in any event, let's talk about Jackie Christie, because Jackie Christie seemed to be very unsettled with the situation. Jackie Christie, she seemed to be open with OG. She seemed to have OG's back, but at the same time, it seems like there was a force pushing her not to, because on camera, it seems like Jackie's coming at OG. She was frustrated with OG the last episode that we did see, but there was also, Jennifer, just chilling and minding her business. And Jackie was trying to be friends with Jennifer. She was trying to be friends with everybody. She was trying to work out the whole situation with everyone. But in any event, Jackie seemed to be very uncomfortable. But Jackie also did co-sign, OG's situation. When OG said, only thing I wanted to do was look out for these girls, which are Noria and Nia, to make sure that they get a good shot, and they get treated fairly. And then OG asked Jackie, did I do that, Jackie? Is that a true statement? And Jackie said yes, it's a true statement. And Jackie co-signed that OG was trying to make sure the sisters didn't get in between her situation with the other ladies, because she didn't want them to be considered damaged goods or faulty goods in any event. So you have that situation. Also, when Evelyn Lozada, when Evelyn called Jackie to ask Jackie to come over with the two sisters, because when it came to OG, she got into an altercation with Noria and Nia. So Evelyn called, and this was being recorded, that OG recorded Jackie Christie picking up the phone and talking to Evelyn, and she was very nervous. She's like, oh my God, I don't know why she's calling. Oh my God. And so she picks up the phone. She was like, oh, I'm sorry, Evelyn. You know, my iPad wasn't working. So yeah, what's going on? And Evelyn said, come over right now. Just come over. You and the girls come over to the house right now. And Jackie was like, okay. Why, Evelyn? Why, Evelyn? And then once Jackie hung up the phone, you know, OG was like, we're in the midst of a conversation. You know, I don't think you should go. And Jackie kept saying, I don't feel good. Something ain't right, guys. Something ain't right. And she kept saying, basically, she was feeling something bad, and she was like, oh my God, the way that Evelyn was talking, her voice and her tone, you know, she seemed to be panicking. She seemed to be scared. I don't know if Jackie's acting with this situation, but it almost seemed like Jackie was getting that phone call like, girl, we got to push this shit through. And Jackie had to come to a realization whether, you know, she was going to still support OG like the way she's been supporting OG, or she's going to have to just basically, you know, keep her job, you know, on the show. So getting back to that situation. So when Jackie's having that conversation, it's just like crazy because Jackie seemed to be so scared. And then when Jackie gets into, you know, she gets into the vehicle with the sisters. And when she does get into the vehicle with the sisters, it's like, what's going on with that situation? Like, it was crazy. Like, Jackie was acting like, you know, something bad was going to happen. Jackie was acting like, you know, like the devil's coming, like something's wrong, something's weird. And then, you know, it came to be crazy. Like, why is Jackie doing so much? Jackie usually do too much. We know that. But in this predicament, she was just like, it's the devil. And she was also acting nervous with OG when she got that call. And then, you know, as soon as, you know, Jackie returns back to the house, it's like she wants to have this conversation, you know, with OG, and she's very upset, and it seems like she's really mad, and, you know, she's calling out OG and basically saying to OG, hey, listen, you're gonna have to come to a realization now. You know, the girls they don't want to have a conversation no more. They want you to say that there ain't no colorism going on. This is not going on. That's not going on. And Jackie just seemed to be so out of it. Like, it wasn't the Jackie that we know. That the Jackie, you know, she went over there and she had that conversation, and basically, you know, she came back and she was just very weird about the situation. And she was like really head over heels confronting OG and being upset with OG and trying to get OG to change her story in her mind. But the whole time throughout the recording that OG released, Jackie is supporting her. Jackie understands. Jackie's her friend. But then when she goes over there to the house and comes back, it's like, oh, OG, you're gonna have to switch up. You're gonna have to change up. You know, so it just seems like a whole lot of weirdness going on with that situation. I was like, And then the sisters are all happy too as well. But when, you know, Evelyn did call Jackie, OG said they're about to recruit the sisters, and Jackie and OG said, look at your face. Like, Jackie was agreeing with that they're ready to recruit the sisters because they just got into an altercation with OG, and they feel like they're not down with OG, because when the sisters first met, you know, Shaunie and Evelyn, allegedly, you know, they went over there and they were speaking on the behalf of OG in a good way, in a good shape, in a good form. And then, you know, now they're in an altercation with OG, and then Evelyn is calling for the sisters to come over here, get here to the house. You know what I mean? So that was like a weird situation with the Jackie. And then Jackie also said that she wished that she was there when Noria and Nia had the conversation with OG about tones and things, because she would have made it go over a lot smoother. But the conversation with the auto with OG talking to the sisters, you know, Noria and Nia, you know, it seemed like everything was fine, everything was good, but then it just went to hell when they end up having their original conversation. So now we get to, you know, let's not forget Jennifer too as well. When it comes to Jennifer Williams made it seem like OG, you know, didn't want to have a conversation with her, that OG, you know, was basically feeling a certain type of way, that OG just wanted to, you know, care about herself and not hear what anything else was going on, or didn't care what was going on with Jennifer or anything of that nature, when OG proved in the audio that she dropped that her and Jennifer had a long conversation. They stayed on the phone for they stayed talking to each other for a long time. It was a good conversation. Jennifer got to talk about all the men and everything they did to her, how the men dogged her out, how the men mistreated her, how the men stole from her. So, so with that situation, it seems like way they tried to portray that OG was ignoring Jennifer. OG didn't want to talk to Jennifer. OG had a problem with Jennifer, and that just wasn't the case. And this is when OG was, making her basketball pocketbook, and that's when Jennifer read the shit out of OG, in the confessionals. But in any event, OG proved that that's not true with the Jennifer situation, that she was open arms with Jennifer and listening to what she had to say. So there's a whole lot of ish going on, baby. So when we get to the sisters having their altercation with OG, which we seen last week, the last conversation where they had the altercation where, OG says, let me finish. If you don't let me finish, I will finish you. And then Noria basically said, well, then finish me then. So she played the whole out order of that conversation. And basically, she was trying to tell the sisters that, she don't want people to be speaking up on her because they don't know the issues. They don't know the different things. And so then Nia basically was saying, the problem is your tone, the way that you were talking. And OG said, yes, it's because we don't know each other. So therefore we can get things misconstrued at the same damn time. So, you have that situation going on. So it was a whole lot. And the argument basically, was one of them crazy arguments. And Noria, she was just cussing. She was swearing. OG was cussing and swearing. But Noria, she really started the cussing and swearing. And she wasn't scared. OG wasn't scared. Nia wasn't scared either. But with the conversation, they came to an agreement that they don't know each other. And the tone that they use, basically, offends one another. So that was the situation. It was the tone. OG said, Nia, you used tones with me that I did not like, but I don't know you, so I don't know if you was actually coming at me, so I just let it be. But then Nia basically is saying, no, the tone that you used with me was terrible. The tones that you say to me was terrible, and you were very hostile. And OG said, no, I wasn't. She was like, I was just trying to make things clear. And so basically they came to an agreement, Nia and OG, that tones are very important, and having a tone, and if you don't know the person, you can take it a different way. Because then they even, brought Jackie into the conversation where Jackie was like, OG has a tone that she used with me, but I understand, that it's not, aggressive. It's not a mean tone. And OG said that Jackie has a tone that she used, but they know each other. So since the sisters don't know each other and OG don't know each other, they're basically getting, emotional about a situation of tones. But OG wasn't getting emotional about the tones because she just let it be, because she said she was getting to know them. And Nia was basically saying, your tone is bad. And then Nia said, give me an example. OG gave Nia an example of her tone being messed up when, OG said basically she was on a conference call with the basketball wives, and Nia was feeling a certain type of way. She wanted to know when she was going to film, how she was going to film, and she was mad about when she's going to film. She was ready to film and all this other things of that nature. And OG said that the tones that she used, like, I better this and that, she was talking like real hardcore. And so Nia was like, no, I was not using no tone with you. And so you have that situation too as well. And Nia was like, I wasn't using that tone, so give me another example. And then Noria, she jumps in and she's talking her ish. And so basically it's just, one of them situations where I believe both of the ladies felt like people were, OG said, you keep coming and asking me these questions, and I can't answer them. I'm not going to answer them. If I don't answer the questions, it's because of a reason. I'm actually in a lawsuit. And then, you know, Nia was like, well, you keep coming and asking me questions, you ask me questions and things of that nature. And and OG said, well, you don't have to answer my questions, I don't have to answer your questions. So they both was asking each other questions and talking about different scenarios. But the problem is they both felt like the other one was doing something maybe grimy, because you have Nia basically saying that when OG asked her questions, OG mic will be off but her mic will be on, and basically to create a moment. And then OG basically felt the same way about Nia. So you had that situation going on where they didn't have any trust for each other, because it's a hectic environment. OG already got beef. The sisters are feeling a certain type of way. They're feeling like, they said that OG wanted to come on the show. Now OG said, no, I didn't want you to come on the show. I wasn't trying to be friends with you like that. I wasn't trying to help you. I wasn't trying to assist you in your journey and being on basketball wise whatsoever. And Nia is basically saying, yes, you did. You wanted me to come through and get at Febreze and Blase in the third, and you wanted me to take her out. And OG said, no, that's not the case. So now you have that situation going on, and now you put both of these ladies in the house together. OG feels that, you know, Nia basically used her name to get on the show, and then Nia feels that OG wanted her on the show. Now she's trying to act like she don't want her on the show. So now that's what the situation that you're dealing with the ladies. And so if OG felt like the ladies lied to get on the show, she can't trust them whatsoever. So she's not going to open up to them. She's not going to talk to them. She may have a conversation with them and talk to them and be cool with them, but she's not going to give them any personal information. And then when it comes to Nia, she might have an attitude like, girl, we both, you know, it's the same color. How come you ain't trying to help me out? I'm trying to get on the show and you trying to act like you don't want me on the show, if that's the case. But Nia's saying that's not the case, that, you know, OG tried to get them on the show. So you have that argument. That argument goes back and forth, and they start yelling and all things of that nature. You have, you know, Nia basically saying that that's not true. You know, I never gave you a tone. I never did this to you. I never did that. So that is the juice. And so you can check out OG's Instagram where she drops the whole recording. So basically, it's two women that can't trust each other, won't trust each other, because there's things that went down and happened, you know, before the season even begun. OG is saying Noria and Nia used her name, and Nia and Noria basically said OG's lying. She wanted us to come on the show. And also, I would think the Phoebe situation, Nia says that she don't want to talk about the Phoebe situation, but how else are you going to be irrelevant on the show without Phoebe? Like, come on, like, that is your key, is Phoebe. Even though Noria said that Basketball Wives wanted her a couple of years ago because you was dating Lance Stevenson, I think that's his name, but you're no longer dating him. So, but now one of his baby mothers on the show, so it would be good to have you on the show too as well to counteract that situation. But Phoebe's not really on the show. She's not really filming, so maybe that's the reason why they didn't have a room for, you know, Noria and Nia. So you guys let me know what you think about this situation. But Jackie definitely seemed scared. Jackie definitely seemed like something else was going on, and she had to make a decision, and she really didn't want to. And, you know, she got to choose the side of the paycheck. She got to choose the side of the money, because that's just what it's going to be. Shaunie is not going to lose her brand. She's not going to give in to OG. She's not going to see anything OG's way, because she feels like OG is coming for her brand. And therefore, if she even gives an inkling that anything that OG said is true, then she can lose it all, and she ain't. And Evelyn feels the same way. So in any event, nothing's going to be resolved. Peace.